Welcome back to another episode of the 412 Podcast, a podcast from FBC Mustang in Mustang, Oklahoma. My name is Jeremy Davis, your host for another episode, associate pastor here, and I'm so glad that you have joined us for this very exciting episode, and an episode that is very personal and fun for me, because we're going to be talking about my favorite, no offense anyone, but my favorite ministry area, and that is our Crossroads ministry. And this is our ministry for college and young adults, roughly ages 18 to about 24. Usually when you turn 24, I start talking to you about getting out. But we have three very special guests, three people I'm really excited to have here. We have Miss Olivia Downing for now. We have Colby Combs. And are you first or second lieutenant?
Second lieutenant.
Second Lieutenant Jacob Wassel. Welcome to the podcast, guys.
Thanks. It's an honor to be here. Absolutely.
Yeah, it's good to be here.
I'm glad you guys are here. So this is the first time for you all to be on a podcast, correct?
Yep, that's
Yes,
right.
sir.
Okay,
Yep.
Very good. Well, let's start off by just introducing everybody. Let's start with Second Lieutenant down there, Mr. Wassel. Tell us a little bit about yourself, how long you've been here, and just maybe a fun fact about yourself.
Yeah, so I'm Jacob Wassel. I've been here for 13 months. I came here from Alabama, went to the University of Alabama, Roll Tide.
Roll Tide.
Fun fact is I only missed 2 football games in my 5 seasons of being there, so
Good for you.
I bleed crimson.
Very good. Very good.
Literally.
Colby?
My name is Colby Combs. Hello, church family. I have been coming to this church for 24 years, 11 months, dedicated as a baby. If you can find some old church directories, that would be interesting. And something interesting about myself is
You've got 2 brothers in the church that
I've got
been
2
here
brothers
just as
in
long.
the church. If you look back to a previous podcast, you can see one featuring Colson Combs.
Oh, that's right. Yeah, very good. Very good. Well, we're glad you're here. Olivia?
Yes, my name is Olivia Downing, and I have been at FBC Mustang for 18 years now. Came when I was 2. I've been in the Crossroads group for 2 years now, and an interesting fact about me is that I am a left-handed drummer.
Really?
Yes, sir.
Cool.
Very interesting.
Mm-hmm.
That's super interesting. Left-handed drummers. They don't come. Are you left-handed just all the time?
Yes, I am.
I'm not sure if I've ever noticed that or not.
Now you know.
Okay, but I feel like you've talked about playing left-handed before.
Absolutely.
Okay,
It's the best way to go.
That's,
Come on.
That's starting to ring a bell. Okay, so a part of our Crossroads ministry, this is primarily college students, but also those that are just kind of in those college age, those years. Why do we call it Crossroads? So we call it Crossroads for 3 reasons. Because you're at a crossroads, just in life in general, trying to kind of figure out what you're going to do post high school, what comes next, where you're going to go to school, if you're going to go to school, if you're going to get into a trade or perhaps start a shoe business or, whatever it is that you want to do. Number 2 is because you're at a relationship or you're at a crossroads in your relationships in life. And that's a number of different relationships. Obviously, the thing that comes to mind is we're all trying to figure out, who do we want to marry? What does that look like? What does dating look like for a believer? All of those kinds of things. No, not me.
Yes.
Yeah, you guys are. And good clarification there. But also just, with relationships with friends, as people are going different directions, different places, you're meeting new people, relationships with family, particularly your parents, and kind of coming out from underneath, their authority over you and living at home and all those kinds of things. And then finally and ultimately, the thing that we address the most is obviously a crossroads, kind of at your with your faith and your walk with the Lord, because it's really becoming your own at that point, and it changes. And a lot of us are raised in the church. There's a lot that are not raised in the church, but for both of those groups, I think those college years are really foundational, as it really kind of sets the course that you're going to take for the rest of your life. So I want to talk about those things just a little bit as we get started here. So let's talk about relationship status. Kind of what is you guys, where is your relationship status is at? Okay, let's go with Olivia first.
I am engaged, happily engaged, to be
Yeah.
married at the end of the summer. So
Congrats.
that's exciting. Thank
Very
you.
good. Which is the other way you get kicked out of Crossroads.
Right.
Either getting married or you turn 24, 25, you're usually out at that point. So very good. And so starting Crossroads, you were not engaged, correct?
Correct. I wasn't even dating.
Not
my
even dating.
fiance. That's
Okay.
right.
Very good. Colby?
I just got in my first relationship in 7 years.
Very good.
And that's no incentive to join Crossroads. But
That's great. And Jacob?
I am also dating, and
she's
found my
calling
girlfriend.
right now.
She is
Oh,
calling
she is calling,
right
yeah.
now.
So welcome to the show, Caitlin.
Yeah.
Very good. So none of you were dating before you got to Crossroads.
Correct.
Okay, so two of you are dating, one of you are engaged. I feel like I have something to do with that. Yes? No?
I can't give you credit. Sorry, but
Well, at least Crossroads did anyway. So let's talk a little bit about friendships and just relationships. So, and any of you can jump in first here, but how have you seen your relationships change and kind of form as you've gone through these college years of your life?
absolutely. So I think relationships, especially within the Crossroads group, are so unique and so fun because I personally have had the opportunity to just become close acquaintances and friends with all kinds of different people, whether they've come up from the youth group and graduated up into the Crossroads group or people who were there before me. And it's just been really great to be able to meet different faces that I've known my whole church life here, but to really get to know different people has been awesome.
Yeah, that's great. You guys?
I have actually developed a number of lifelong relationships in Crossroads, primarily friendships. Being at the church so long, you know a lot of faces, but when you join the college and Crossroads ministry, there's new people coming every day. So you can see redheaded guys come in, lieutenants come in, future doctors, future teachers are all walking into the Crossroads ministry every week, and it's a great opportunity to make lifelong friendships,
Yeah.
which I could name by name right now, but
That's great. That's great.
Yeah, I would definitely agree. You know, when I first got to Oklahoma, I definitely looked around and tried to find a place with a good Christian community first off, and that was hard to find.
Yeah.
Like with people around my age, because you know I had just graduated college, and I felt like I was either super old or like way too young to be with all these
Yeah.
gray-haired people and all that. But no, I loved Crossroads.
Good, good. So, life. Have you guys kind of figured out directions for life, or at least in general, made some major life decisions as far as how you're going to live your life going forward?
Just in the time we've been at Crossroads?
Yeah, absolutely.
Well, I am graduating college, which is, it's a college age group. So
Yeah.
that's definitely a big life decision, deciding what to do with my major and where I'm going to get a job. And now I'm going to be married coming up out of the group. So that's definitely
Yeah.
a big change in life.
Absolutely.
Two big adjustments to make.
So you started off, well, you're graduating a marketing major.
Marketing and professional sales.
Yeah. And so kind of during those years, you kind of found this love for sales as well, right?
Right.
Okay. Very good. And that's not really like a Crossroads thing,
No,
but it's during that time.
absolutely.
Yeah, and so I think those are the things you're working through and thinking through, and it's important to have a faith community in the midst of all
Absolutely
that stuff.
it is.
Yeah, Colby.
I have no idea where my life is headed other than I know that I would like to live it according to God's word.
Yeah,
But I couldn't pinpoint a certain direction or goal
Yeah.
at the moment. So
yeah,
Yeah, I mean, I have had a lot of life choices thrust upon me.
Yeah.
I would say here pretty recently, after graduating college, and then like, hey, in 3 months you're going to Oklahoma. I said, Oklahoma what? I hadn't even considered Oklahoma and all that.
right.
But yeah, and then meeting Caitlin, and it's starting to think about marriage and all that stuff. It's a lot of big deals coming through.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. So obviously we grow a lot in our faith. Especially when it's within the context of the local church. And that's something that we try to work on. I'm always trying to push you guys to be involved in the church and to be a part of the church. And so like one thing we do is we intentionally do not have like a Wednesday night activity during the school year when all of our Wednesday night stuff is going on, because I think you guys should be with the adults in adult Bible study, or singing in the choir, or serving with the kids down in Awana, something like that, which you guys are all a part of. Jacob just said he was sweaty because he's been playing dodgeball for the last 2 hours, a bunch of kids. So
Yeah.
those are the things that we want you guys to be a part of, and because growth, sanctification really does take place within the local church and what goes on here. So let's talk a little bit more about that. Is there anything particular that has made, maybe a major impact on your life as you've been in these years while you've been in the Crossroads ministry? Maybe it's lessons or events or things that you've done, but what is something that is particularly spiritually has really made an impact on your life? We'll start down there with Jacob.
So when we did that book study over the summer, what was it? Thoughts for Young Men, I believe. Yeah. Because I was still a little fresh, a little new getting in here, and that really solidified relationships, as in like friendships and all that.
Yeah.
And also, I hadn't done like a serious book study before. You do some in like elementary school or high school or something like that. But really, like meeting with people weekly and having deep conversations about that, I really enjoyed that. So that was probably my first like big thing.
Yeah, that's really good. I didn't know that about you. That's cool.
Yeah.
Colby?
Events and Crossroads that have helped me grow in my faith, I think, are the in-depth conversations that we have before, after, and outside of Sunday school. And I know that's not very spiritual, because it's not like we're having a discussion over God's word, or we're having a discussion over a particular book. But I think it's in those times, when I'm talking to somebody who's a future marketing major, or never thought about going to Oklahoma, or just moved here from Lawton with no future job, no idea what he's going to do the next day, in an apartment with no furniture, and he says, God provided me a job this next week.
Yeah.
I think in those conversations that are outside of the Bible, outside of our Bible studies, have helped me grow in trusting the Lord. Because I think I can see God working in you guys' lives around me a lot easier than I can myself. And so I think trust would definitely be like the biggest growth that I've seen in my life.
Yeah. And that's
while I've been here. So.
That's a great perspective, and we should write that down. That's a great quote, because I think it is easier for us to see God working and moving in other people's lives than it is for us to reflect and see how things are changing in our own life. Often looking out the window is a lot easier than looking in the mirror. And so I think that's true. And I think that just speaks to the importance of having a community of believers that you're with and you're around. That's good insight.
Which is not everywhere.
Right.
It's not everywhere.
Oh,
Yeah. Yeah. Olivia?
To kind of speak on what you said, Jeremy, a moment ago about giving us the opportunity to be involved in other groups on Wednesday nights.
Yeah.
Something I have learned amazingly is through being in the choir and being surrounded by other believers who are at so many different life stages than I am, especially because I am a younger member of the choir. It's been so very just good to me to see how the Lord is working in other people's lives, and to see how he is providing for different people and showing his grace, and also his discipline. And I feel like just viewing the lives of others and seeing how God is working in them has really encouraged me as a believer.
Yeah, that's really good. That's helpful. So let's talk about some of the events that we do and activities, maybe outside of our teaching times, Bible study times, just stuff that we're having fun, fellowshipping, just enjoying being together as believers. What are some highlights from that? Some of your favorite things that we've done?
Well, me and Olivia just came back this January. Was that January or February?
January.
That was in January. We came back from Williamstown, Kentucky, which if you've never been, you're going to have to buy a map.
Yeah.
But we went and broke the ice for the first ever Crossroads CrossCon field trip. So we did have the first the first out-of-state Crossroads field trip, which was absolutely incredible. I think we had almost a dozen people go, counting some sponsors. So,
yeah, I think the first trip was to Dallas.
It wasn't all inclusive though.
But it wasn't all inclusive.
Yeah.
So it was like a test run. Yeah, but no, that's good. That's good. So cross conference, Crossroads going to the cross conference. That's hard to say. Olivia?
I would say our snack times, which is Sunday night after church. Once a month, we have these fellowships where we just have specific and intended time to spend with one another, just solely in fellowship with one another,
Yeah.
share a meal together, and just get to share with one another parts of our life. And I have just loved that. Some of that comes from I got engaged at once.
Yeah.
That counts a little bit on my book. But beyond that, they have been just so amazing to be able to really dig in and hear different parts of life from all of the people of the group, not
Yeah.
just your typical small people.
Hold on,
that
can you
hang
go
out
ahead
with.
and double back? You said you got engaged at a snack event? Because I've never
Yes, I
actually heard
did.
this story.
Well, I
Yeah.
guess
I
it
was
was
not
a
there.
Christmas party,
Yeah.
but it kind of counts as a snack event.
It took place of snack.
Walk me through
Yeah,
it.
it did. Maybe another time, Colby
Yeah.
comes.
Yeah, we'll tell that story later.
Okay.
Yeah, we will.
Okay.
Okay.
So Jacob, any events or activities that stand out?
Yeah, so I actually have two. One of them being we went to a hockey game and got to go see him play that. But also,
Because in Alabama there is no hockey.
so there actually is hockey.
Oh, is there? Okay,
Yeah,
all right.
Yeah, the Huntsville Havoc is
Okay.
pretty big down there.
All right. So
Yeah.
you have seen that before.
Oh yeah.
Okay.
Oh, yeah.
I wasn't sure if you'd seen ice before. So
Oh yeah.
yeah.
It's foreign, but I have seen
Yeah.
it before. But the second one, and probably the most important one to me, is volleyball, because that's actually how I really got to know Caitlin, and yeah.
Yeah. That is like an impromptu thing
Yeah.
that
Mm-hmm.
originally started with me like reserving our sand volleyball court X number of times throughout the summer, and the next thing I know, just people are showing up every night of the week, just constant. It's like the every night volleyball club.
It's the best.
They had like
The
18
best.
days in a row one time.
Yeah,
Yeah.
it's crazy. It's
It's
so
awesome.
fun. Yeah, some serious volleyball going on. And speaking of sports, we have a very serious wiffle ball game coming up.
Yes, we do.
We do.
Yeah, there's a lot of tension, a lot of rivalries being formed over this. So we have a brand new class called the Sojourners class that has that started, and it is kind of the next step out of Crossroads. So whether you're getting married or you're kind of aging out or you're kind of just through that next stage in life, it's a class taught by Jeff LeDuc, our executive pastor, and Jason Nelson, and we are actually going to go head to head in June, and we're playing a wiffle ball game, and it's Sojourners versus Crossroads, so which is kind of cool. Like Crossroads, you're Sojourner. That's
I hope
appropriate.
Crossroads is ready.
Yeah.
'cause-
Oh, we
Oh,
are.
we're going to
Oh, yeah.
smoke
Oh yeah.
the Sojourners
Yeah.
class. Are you
we have,
kidding me?
We have all our students that are on athletic scholarships coming back. Are
Yeah.
you kidding?
We've been putting together practices. We've been,
Jeremy-
we've been getting some outside coaching coming
Yeah.
in.
Mhm,
they'll be
sure.
ready.
Jeremy's up to the plate against a college pitcher this week in preparation for this
Yeah, that's right.
wiffle
Yeah.
ball match.
Are you
So,
serious?
Yeah.
Oh.
He throws 90-something.
I can't wait. Yeah, that's great, and I'm looking forward to it. Okay, so any funny stories, anything that comes to mind that, maybe went too far, something hilarious that happened while in Crossroads?
Yes. So this past Christmas, you had put together this really awesome, super cool Christmas party. And it was awesome. I'm serious. Except the first event that we did was a scavenger hunt.
Yes.
And there was like 10 different prompts we were supposed to do. And I don't think you intended for it to last as long as it did.
No, I intended it to be like 20 minutes
Okay,
long.
well, it lasted like 2 hours,
Yes,
Jeremy.
it was long.
So incredibly long. And
Yeah.
everyone was running around and digging for stuff everywhere in the
Yes.
church. And
Andrew Waller, who was on a track and field scholarship in college, is laying on the floor. I thought he was going to pass out. And he's exhausted. And
intense.
I knew at that point I had gone
I
too
had
far.
a fever that very night during the Christmas celebration that you guys had. And I walked into the church to drop something off in the office, and at least 4 Crossroads students surrounded me saying, "Do you know where Jeremy and Chelsea are?" I said, "What? No, I have no idea what you're talking about."
Because they were looking for, all the clues had our faces on it. Yeah, you were either looking for my face or Chelsea's face. Yeah.
you should have stayed, Colby.
I left. I dropped off presents and walked out.
Oh, that was the night I got engaged. You could have stayed and seen it all happen.
That also took like 2 hours.
Yes, it did. It took a while.
Why?
He's a good planner. And your scavenger hunt
Wait, was that
took
part
forever.
of the scavenger hunt?
Yes.
Was the
Well,
engagement?
kind of.
It was kind of.
It was all
Everything was
mixed in.
leading into that.
It was awesome.
Yeah. And so
Best proposal ever.
it was great. It took a very long time.
Yes,
Yeah.
it did.
Took a lot of planning. So we sent them. Braden had all these plans or these clues planned out for. We were doing an
Escape room.
escape room. Thank you.
You're
And so we sent the first group, including Olivia and a bunch of people that knew it was not real, to the choir room to do an escape room in there, and they had to find all the clues and then race to get up to the Crossroads room first. But as soon as they walked off to the choir room, I let everybody know, like, this is not a real game. This is, you're welcome to stay and see what happens, or, go, or whatever you want to do.
And I had no idea.
Oh, yeah, Olivia had
It was
no
awesome.
idea.
Like, no clue.
Yeah.
I wanted to win bad. We
Oh,
were
yeah.
running around like crazy.
Working hard.
Yeah,
Yeah,
we were. It was crazy.
Yeah, hilarious.
It was awesome.
Yeah, a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
We've eaten pig's feet in Crossroads.
Oh, that was
so
gross.
I think that was one of Colby's favorites.
I did not put a foot in my mouth.
Yeah, he told me, or maybe you messaged or something, but you said the moment you watched someone eat a pig's foot, you knew it was time for you to graduate out of Crossroads.
I did. That very night.
I believe the exact words were coming back up. I decided it was time to graduate.
Yeah, saw it come out.
Well, let's not cut the menu short. We had escargot, which is a snail,
Yeah.
Anchovies.
dried bugs and larvae, anchovies.
I ate some sort of like baby food, beef and
Yeah, you
peas
made it out all
mix.
right.
Yeah.
Mine was the easiest.
The easiest.
Yeah.
I mean, it was gross,
pretty
but it was
good.
the easiest.
It was
And
fine.
someone took the rest of the dead bugs home to eat with their friends.
That's
Who?
not true.
Adam Brotherton. I'm
Of
dead
course he
serious.
did.
That's
No
true.
way.
That's true.
It's a true
That's
story.
gross,
Yes.
Adam.
Yeah,
That's
I know
gross.
it. I know it. Oh, that's hilarious. Okay, so we have coming up here in just a couple weeks for us. So by the time listeners are listening to this podcast episode, it will have just happened. But on May 19th, we have the next group of high school seniors becoming freshmen in Crossroads, which we're very excited about. So for all of you guys, if you could encourage a freshman that's moving up into Crossroads with something, if you're going to tell them just one thing as they're coming up into Crossroads, what would you tell them?
You don't have a fixed friend group. You're not friends with 4 people in Crossroads.
Yeah.
It's actually like a collective family. So if you think that you and your girlfriend or you and your buddy are going to sit in the corner, you don't know what's coming for you.
Yeah, that's
I will
true.
find you and I will talk to you. It's kind of my thing.
Like Liam Neeson will find you.
Uh-huh,
Yeah.
I would say to really take the time that you give us on Wednesdays to be a part of different ministries, to be a part of Awana or Cubbies, or be in the choir, or sit in on Jeff's teaching on Wednesday night. I would really tell upcoming freshmen to embrace that time.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, I would agree with both of those things. First off, grow in your faith, because this is a really pivotal point where a lot of people will drop off and they'll just, mom and dad aren't there anymore. I just won't go to church, whatnot. So grow in your faith, but also make new friends. It is super welcoming and coming in, and that's kind of Crossroads is what solidified like me going to this church, and how welcoming and how just loving and friendly everybody was.
Yeah.
Because I had visited a few other places, and I mean, they didn't even ask for my name, didn't care 2 cents,
Yeah.
I come here, it's like, hey, yeah.
Yeah.
It was great.
That's cool. That's cool.
Yeah, I think also Crossroads is one of the first ministries that, as a First Baptist student, you're going to come out and be in a mix of multiple ages of different stages in life, which really solidifies the name that you've chosen for this. So I think it is a great time to grow in your faith, and also you're expected to serve now. Like, you're not only under your parents, but you're a part of the body in this church in Crossroads. So
That's right.
not only do you have the opportunity to serve and the opportunity to make friends, but it's so open. It's so it's almost on fire. Like, you're not going to not be able to.
Right.
It's really beautiful.
That's good, man. Those are good words. Okay, so the college student that accidentally hears this podcast episode and is not currently a part of a church that has a group like this, or they're not a part of a church at all. What would you tell them about Crossroads?
I would say it's super welcoming.
Yeah.
I feel like everybody's friendly. And like Colby said, you're not going to have a specific buddy only. It's like you can be friends with everyone, and it's a super, super awesome group. But beyond it being very welcoming and very personable, it's very deep. And that's something that I have just exponentially loved about the group, is that everything is very theologically deep, as is everything in the church. But everything is so relatable to all these different stages that we're going through in life. And I just love that.
Do you have any specific examples of that?
I would say specifically God's providence. I feel like it's been taught on a lot, and how the Lord really cares for his people, and it can be very clearly seen all throughout Scripture. And that's so relatable in our times of life right now, as we're going into school or going into a trade or a different job, and see how God's will for us is kind of laid out before us, and we know God's will for us by being in the Word. And so I feel like that's been really encouraged, and that's something that I've really loved and picked up on.
That's cool. That's great. Okay, what about you guys? Someone's listening, and what would you tell them?
The first thing you can do is show up to the first service of church, and then walk into Jeremy's class and find instant relatability to the sermon. It's incredible. But that has nothing to do with.
It is weird how often that
though.
happens. I mean, all the time. And it's not like a planned thing,
Really?
even a little bit.
Not even a little bit?
Never.
Never.
Oh.
In fact, if you ever see me like taking out something else, I literally take Sunday school notes to the service every Sunday, because it happens so frequently, and I will go mark up my Sunday school notes, knowing that like something's going to be said that relates exactly to what's going on here, and I'm not doing it intentionally. It's crazy.
If you are a college student outside of any particular church ministry, you're not plugged in anywhere, or even I just met somebody who was at our church the other day who can't come on Sunday mornings, but we have ways for you to get plugged in on Wednesday nights. We have Crossroads activities that fit the college schedule. So if you don't have a group like that, or if you're looking for that, make sure you're looking in the right place, because at the college age, you can get sucked into some dangerous places. You can get sucked into some dangerous groups.
Yeah.
Not intentionally either. So you definitely want to be intentional of what you're looking for.
Yeah.
Know what you're looking for. If you're looking for something theologically sound, if you're looking for something that's far greater than temporary friendships, I think that this would be the thing for you.
Yeah, that's good.
Yeah, 100% agree. It's Crossroads isn't one of those like inch deep and a mile wide. It's very deep, very theologically sound, and man, I've honestly just loved every Sunday morning, because I mean, coming from big church and right into Sunday school, it's like okay, I get my second sermon. It's not like, oh, it's Sunday school, you know.
That's cool.
But yeah, what I would say to a college student that is listening to this is that it is going to be a little daunting to go into a room full of like nobody that you know, because I've done that a lot. I went to Alabama and I didn't know anybody there in the entire city of Tuscaloosa. So I got kind of used to going into rooms with not knowing anybody, but it's always still nerve-wracking. But it's just very welcoming.
Yeah,
that's all I can say. Warm and welcoming.
That's great. Okay, we're gonna do a lightning round, and so I'll have 2 questions for you, and we'll just go one after the other. Okay. So we'll start with Jacob. Just rattle off your answer. Okay. What has been your favorite teaching series we did on Sunday mornings?
Hosea.
Okay.
That's a good answer. I'm not going to double down. I'll say ethics.
Okay.
It was a long sermon series.
Yeah.
So.
It was a good one. That was the topical 2 years ago, right? I think it was. Then I have to say 1 Timothy.
Okay. Very good.
I missed it.
Okay. All right. Next question is last question before we wrap up is what is the one thing you think you'll miss the most as you leave Crossroads?
Jeremy, of course.
I appreciate that.
Nothing. He's not going to miss it at all.
He's not missing.
I'm going to miss the people. That's what I'm going to miss.
I want to say the people.
Yeah. Oh, you can't copy me.
I don't want to say just Jeremy, and I don't want to say just the students or the college students or career people that are in that class. But I would say just overall the fellowship that's Crossroads.
That's good. And yours is people?
Mine is people, yeah.
People.
Being
Yeah.
able
People.
to be
Yeah,
in the
people.
same walk of life as people and be able to relate perfectly
That's
with
great.
others. That's what I'm going to miss.
That's the church.
Because if
It
I go
is.
to another class, I will still get God's word.
Amen.
Yeah.
So I'm not worried about that.
Yeah.
It's not like something that I'm in fear of going to another class.
Yeah.
So.
What a good testimony and what a good way to end this conversation. Just that we are a church that really cares about the Bible. We hold it high, and we teach it in every facet of ministry and every nook and cranny of this building. That's a great word. You don't have to worry about where you're at in this. In our church, we really do care about God's word and teaching it well. So, well, I appreciate all three of you guys for being here, and I already miss two of you. Olivia, I will miss you soon. I count it a great blessing to have gotten to know you guys for a period of time. You've made a huge impact on me. And my wife Chelsea, more than you guys will ever know. So I do want to say thank you to my wonderful, beautiful bride, Chelsea, for all the ministry that she does alongside me in Crossroads. Truly, it is not possible without all the effort and work that she puts into it and helping me with it. I want to thank you, listener, for being a part of another episode of the 412 podcast. We're so glad that you've joined us. And as always, we want to say thank you to our producer and tech extraordinaire, Mr. Samuel Campos. Thank you so much for all the work. And thank you again for listening and joining us for another episode of the 412 podcast. If you ever want to know more about FBC Mustang, you can go to fbcmustang.org. We'll see you next time.